So here's a song by the musical artist known as Tim Minchin. He's a composer, a comedian. He's been known for writing a lot of songs that poke fun at people of faith. And he's always said that, in order to believe in God, he needs to be provided with some evidence. And then during one of his tours of Australia, he was approached by a fan. His name was Sam. And he was talking about his mom, who had been diagnosed with this degenerative eye disease, and they were very concerned. So they went to church, and the whole congregation prayed for Sam's mom. And then when she went back to the doctor, they discovered that her condition was cured. It was a miracle. And Tim Minchin, all he had ever said was that, he wanted to be provided with some evidence of God's existence. So after hearing this story, he went home and he wrote this song. I have an apology to make. It seems I've made a big mistake. I turned my face away from you, Lord. I was too blind to see the light. I was too weak to feel your might. I closed my eyes, I couldn't see the truth, Lord. But then like Saul on the Damascus road, you sent a messenger to me, and so had the truth revealed to me. Please forgive me all those things I said. I'll no longer betray you, Lord. I will pray to you instead. And I will say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I had no idea about it, suddenly so clear. Now I feel like such a cynic. How could I have been so dumb? Thank you for displaying just how praying works with a particular prayer in a particular church. Thank you, Sam, for the chance to acknowledge this omnipotent ophthalmologist. Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I didn't realize that it was so simple, but you've shown a great example of just how it can be done. You only need to pray in a particular spot to a particular version of a particular God, and if you pull that off without a hitch, you can fix one eye of one middle-class white bitch. I know in the past my outlook has been limited. I couldn't see examples of where life had been diminutive. Now I can admit it when the evidence is clear as Sam's mom's new cornea, and that's extremely clear. Thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I have to admit that in the past I have been skeptical, but Sam described this miracle and I am overcome. It's fitting that the sighting of a sight-based intervention should open my eyes to this exciting new dimension. It's like someone put an eye chart on the wall in front of me, and the top 5 letters said ICGOD. Thank you, Sam, for showing how my point of view has been so flawed. I assumed there was no God at all, but now I see that's cynical. It's simply that his interests aren't particularly broad. He's largely undiverted by the starving masses or the inequality between the various classes. He gives out strictly limited passes, redeemable for surgery or 2-for-1 glasses. I feel so shocking for historically mocking. Your interests are clearly confined to the ocular. I bet given the chance you'd eschew the divine and start a little business selling contacts online. Fuck me, Sam! What are the odds that of history's endless parade of gods, that the God you just happen to be taught to believe in is the actual one, and he digs on healing, but not the AIDS-ridden African nations, or the victims of the plague, or the flood-addled Asians, but healthy, privately insured Australians with common incurable eye degeneration. The story of Sam's is but a single explanation, a surgical god who digs on magic operations. No, it couldn't be mistaken attribution of causation, born of a coincidental temporal causation, exacerbated by a general lack of education, vis-a-vis physics in Sam's parish congregation. It couldn't be that all these pious people are liars. It couldn't be an artifact of confirmation bias, a product of groupthink, a mass delusion, an emperor's new clothes style, feel of exclusion. No, it's more likely to be a powerful magician than the misdiagnosis of the original condition. permission by one of many cases of spontaneous remission, or a record-keeping glitch by the local physician. No, the only explanation for Sam's mom's seeing. They prayed to an all-knowing super being, to the omnipresent master of the universe, and he liked the sound of their muttered verse. So for a bit of a change from his usual stunt of being a sexist, racist, murderous cunt, he popped down to Danganong, and just like that, he used his powers to heal the cataracts of Sam's mom. Sam's mom. Oh, thank you, God, for fixing the cataracts of Sam's mom. I didn't realize that it was such a simple thing. I feel like such a ding-a-ling, an ignorant scum. Now I understand just how prayer can work with a particular prayer in a particular church, in a particular style, with a particular stuff, and for particular problems that aren't particularly tough, for particular people, preferably white and particular senses, preferably sight and particular prayer in a particular spot to a particular version of a particular God. And if you get that right, he just might take a break from giving babies malaria and pop down to your local area to fix the cataracts of your mom.